In 2012, with the release of Marvel Studios' The Avengers, comic book and superhero movies had become box office gold. While Warner Brothers had found great success in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, Marvel had fully established a shared cinematic universe, with multiple characters that inhabit the same continuity, frequently crossing over with team-up films to billion-dollar box office grosses. In 2013, Warner Brothers released Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. Intended to be the beginning of a new series of Superman films starring Henry Cavill, it was a box office success, but had a divisive response from critics and audiences. This was an altogether darker take on superhero cinema, a sharp contrast to Marvel's more colourful, more comedic approach. Warner Brothers, possibly looking to cash in on Marvel's success with The Avengers, made plans to start their own cinematic universe with their DC characters. For the first time, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman and others would share the screen, having their own solo films while teaming up in a planned series of Justice League movies. Plans for a direct sequel to Man of Steel were shelved, and Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman would be the first film to feature the Dark Knight and the Man of Steel in a live-action film together. Henry Cavill would reprise his role as Superman, and Ben Affleck would play Batman. Gal Gadot would also make her first appearance here as Wonder Woman. Released in 2016 to good box office, but a very negative critical reception, Batman v Superman turned out to be a very controversial film, but it may in fact be one of the greatest superhero films ever made. The movie is set sometime after the events of Man of Steel, while the world comes to terms with the devastation of the Kryptonian attack and the existence of metahumans. Bruce Wayne, who has been fighting crime in Gotham for 20 years as Batman, believes Superman is a threat to the Earth given his power. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor creates an elaborate plot to turn both heroes against each other, while the immortal Diana Prince questions whether to come out of hiding her powers and help save mankind. Batman v Superman is, in my opinion, an extremely underrated movie. A constant criticism of the film is that it is too serious. I respect the fact that Zack Snyder did not take the safe and easy route of simply copying the Marvel formula and making a colourful, jokey movie, like many of the MCU films. Batman v Superman takes its subject matter seriously and asks many interesting questions, like how the world would really react to the existence of superpowered beings like Superman. One of my favourite scenes in the film is a montage of Superman saving people and preventing disasters all over the world. People react in different ways. Some react to him like he's a god, others react in fear. Bruce Wayne in particular is extremely wary of Superman's existence. After 20 years of fighting crime in Gotham, he has become bitter and more violent than ever in his fight against crime. Ben Affleck gives, in my opinion, the best ever live-action performance as Batman. This is a Dark Knight who is not that different from the criminals he pursues. As Bruce Wayne says to his loyal butler Alfred, "We're criminals. We always have been." One of the many criticisms of Affleck's Batman is that he is too cold-blooded and actually kills several people. Many people believe that Batman should never kill, and was actually a key plot point in the Dark Knight films. However, this is a Batman who has lost his way. He has lost Robin, lost dozens of people in the alien attack on Metropolis, and has reached the point where he feels that he hasn't really made a difference. This was a necessary portrayal of Batman, in a film which pits him against Superman. Superman represents the complete opposite of what Batman stands for, and Superman himself has good reason to distrust Batman, and plays a key part in Lex Luthor's manipulation of both heroes. While the director's cut of the film explores this in more detail, Lex Luthor manipulates events to turn Batman and Superman against each other. While Batman brands criminals, Luthor has them killed in jail, making it look like Batman is responsible. Also, Luthor arranges a terrorist takedown in Afghanistan, which results in a lot of collateral damage, to be the result of Superman's interference. The actual fight between Batman and Superman is raw and brutal. Batman, having stolen kryptonite, weakens Superman to the point where his strength matches his. Superman is clearly holding back in this fight. With his mother kidnapped, he is in this fight against his will and does not want to kill Batman. Batman, on the other hand, is convinced Superman is a killer and inflicts a lot of damage. This, of course, leads to the most controversial element of the film, the resolution of the fight. Batman, with Superman at his mercy, is about to kill him when Clark begs Batman to save his mother Martha. Batman's mother shares the same first name, and it makes him confused and angry. This reminds him of why he became Batman in the first place. His own mother gunned down in an alley. This, in my opinion, is where Bruce Wayne realizes that he's lost his way. He became Batman to make sure that what happened to his parents would never happen to others. Batman resolves his conflict with Superman and promises him that he will rescue Martha. This leads to one of the all-time great fight scenes in any superhero movie. Batman tracks down where Martha is being held and takes down Luthor's henchman in an action sequence that is raw, brutal, and executed with maximum precision by Zack Snyder and his stunt team. It is by far the best on-screen depiction of Batman in action, and is even more brutal in the director's cut. Gal Gadot makes her debut as Wonder Woman here, and while she does not have a great deal of screen time, she plays a key role in the final battle against Lex Luthor's monstrous creation, Doomsday. Gal Gadot brings a welcome lightness and charm to the film, setting the stage for her solo outing, which came out the following year. The movie ends with Superman sacrificing himself to stop Doomsday. Later, Bruce tells Diana that a bigger threat is coming and that they have to find the other metahumans to recruit for the battle still to come. In closing, Batman v Superman is a standout in superhero cinema, filled with great performances and great action. The most comic-accurate Batman, and in Wonder Woman, a great introduction to one of the most iconic female superheroes of all time. One cannot fault its ambition, and while it may not be perfect, deserves to be looked on with greater respect. Time will be good to this film, and it should be respected for what it is. Not just a great example of superhero cinema, but great cinema.